Let's get something straight. History is not about who owns what or who got there first. It's about the people who walked Europe tens of thousands of years ago. They were surviving, hunting, and making art. That's it. And everyone who tries to twist the past into some nationalistic fantasy is a fool. So leave that junk at the door. The story of Europe's oldest DNA starts with the Neanderthals. They roamed Europe and Western Asia for over 100,000 years, disappearing around 30,000 years ago. Modern humans, the Cro-Magnons, arrived in Europe about 45,000 years ago, chasing animals across frozen ground. New faces, new ideas, their voices carried by the wind. The two species overlapped, and the questions of their interaction lingered for years. In 2010, it was confirmed. Humans of Eurasian descent carry traces of Neanderthal DNA, about 1.5 to 2.1% on average. Swedish scientist Svante Pääbo had proven the connection, rewriting the story of human origin. When early modern humans came to Europe, now known as our Aurignacian culture, they brought parental haplogroups C1A2, F, and K2A. Then came the Ice Age. They clung to life in frozen refuges, becoming West European hunter-gatherers. However, mitochondrial DNA, born by the maternal line, tells a different story. Haplogroup U5, dating back 45,000 to 40,000 years, now known as the Proto-Aurignacians, marked the first colonization of Europe. Subsequent movements brought haplogroups HV and U4. Haplogroup H now accounts for nearly half of European mitochondrial DNA, with its roots tied to the Middle East. 35,000-year-old skeleton in Goyet Cave from Belgium was found. This DNA, Goyet Q116-1, vanished before it turned up again in Vestonice in Czech Republic, when the glaciers began to melt. The Gravettian culture arose roughly 30,000 years ago, alongside the emergence of haplogroup I. Haplogroup R1, originating much later, around 80,000 years ago, became the dominant force, sweeping over Europe from the steppes of Central Asia, displacing older lineages. Two paths in Europe emerged, one through Middle East and Southeast Europe alongside the Danube River, the other from the steppes north to the Black Sea. Then, farmers arrived from Anatolia and from the Caucasus Mountains with crops, livestock, and change, replacing some hunter-gatherers, while traces of their DNA lingered in Europe's remote corners. During the Bronze Age, steppe herders brought new languages and more upheaval. Everyone mixed, hunter-gatherers, farmers, and ancient North Eurasians. The expansion of the last glacier maximum didn't just take the land, it stripped the people. As the glacier recedes from about 16,000 to 30,000 years ago, Europe began to be slowly repopulated by people again. Some of the old Y haplogroups, those ancient signposts of fatherhood, split and branch around this time. And R1b, that one came roaring back as an Anatolian lineage, swelling into what now dominates the Y chromosome landscape of Western Europe, even claiming the British Isles as its own. RA1A told another story, tied to the Ice Age in Ukraine. It marched through Eastern Europe and Scandinavia when the ice gave away. Different lineage, different trail. The story of European oldest DNA glimmers with intrigue, but the truth, as always, is a more complicated thing, woven with migrations, survival, and time's relentless march. In highlands of Bosnia, where mountains are high as 150 meters above sea level, Bosnians still holds the marker of Gravettian hunter-gatherers. The same DNA dominates in Scandinavia and Netherlands. The Basques are a mystery, their language a song that refused to harmonize with Indo-European chorus. Their genetics are just as distinct. From Neolithic farmers, they inherited a quiet legacy, untouched by the tides of the steppe migrations that swept through Europe. And far to the north, the Sami hold their own ancient secrets. Their DNA reached back to the Ice Age, a bridge to the hunter-gatherers who walked the frozen earth. Let me be clear once more. In the grand sweep of time, we are all echoes of ancestors who walk under ancient skies. No one can claim DNA purity. Their DNA is in our blood, it lingers in our bones, and it hums the stories we carry forward. But history is not a still pool, it's a river, ever floating, ever shifting. And yet, the future calls, distant, shimmering, full of questions we have yet to answer. The choices we make now ripple outward, shaping a world where the echoes of ancient wisdom meet the dreams of what could be. Will we reach stars and forget where we came from originally, eventually evolve into something unrecognizable? The past is in our veins, but it's the choices we make now carve the path to eternity and the future we dare to dream.